tell them who you are. Wear the mask, they won't know if you love them or him or her. I don't believe that love could be a sin. Wanna show you all of me, give you everything. Oh, this is not easy. Yeah, this is not easy. When I'm in bed, I feel warm and safe within her arms. They can't tell me the way I'm living does anyone harm. If there's a God, I'm sure they brought you to me. Wanna show you all of me, give you everything. Oh, this is not easy. Wanna share my love out loud. Let everyone know he's now. Oh, this is not easy. Yeah, this is not easy. Quiet down. Quiet down. They want me to quiet down, but I won't quiet down. Wanna show you all of me, give you everything. Oh, this is not easy. Wanna share my love out loud. Let everyone know here now. Oh, this is not easy. Yeah, this is not easy. Quiet down. Quiet down. They want me to quiet down, but I won't quiet down. It's been a day, stressing out like crazy. Just wanna be lazy.
Hello, and welcome to LiSTENiN Popcast, where if you broke your arm but it's all healed up now and you need to remove that cast, we can pop that sucker right off in no time flat.
I had no idea where you were going.
Wait, that's not what we do. I think we have something to do with music, right? Right, we share
No.
music and discuss it and appreciate it
Ew.
in a live stream / podcast format, coming to you almost every other Sunday. So hopefully we enrich your musical lives and have a good time in the process. I'm Jesse, the cast popper.
I'm Kay.
I'm Alexis.
I just imagine musical lives being like lives of people who exist within musicals.
Yeah.
Hopefully we enrich your life in which you just sing and dance out of nowhere every day.
Like the character inside or the actor?
I mean, I was presuming that there is a universe in which musicals are just daily.
Right.
Like Pippin World and then Cats. Just
Yeah. Oh,
just
cats. That's
yeah.
we love cats here.
Cats the musical in real life would be bizarre. It's already bizarre.
Yeah.
It is one of my favorite musicals, though. No hate.
Oh yeah.
It's been too long, but I feel like it's hard to get back into just because it's so silly. I don't.
I mean, that's why I could get back into it. Because it's so silly. It was like my favorite musical as a kid. I watched it all the time.
I'm pretty sure I was. like I remember the Hey Arnold parody of it, and I feel like I experienced both similarly at the same time, so I don't remember which one came first, but I definitely have very fond memories of both Cats and Rats on Hey Arnold.
I had absolutely no idea that there was a Hey Arnold version of Cats musical.
Yeah.
So, thank you for that.
Mhm.
I think we interrupted Jesse's intro. I'm sorry, Jesse.
No, that was
Were you
about
gonna say
it.
something
I was
else?
at the point where I was going to ask if anything was up, and apparently
Oh, Cats the musical
watching
is up,
Cats.
apparently.
Yeah.
Taylor Swift is in Nashville. It's chaos.
Does she have to like close down streets as she passes like a president or something?
I don't think so, but it's just there's so many people in town. There was articles about people traveling from like Europe to come to Nashville to go to the Taylor Swift concert.
Dang.
Because this is like where she's from, it's a really big deal.
True.
And we've become like
Taylor Swift
a
Mecca.
Taylor Swift theme park. Yeah. There are lines in Centennial Park, which is just like our big, it's not even downtown, but like the big Central Park area. And there are lines to go sit and take pictures on the bench that they just like this year said is Taylor's bench.
Wow.
There's nobody on the bench on a normal day. Yeah.
Besides the ghost
It's
of Taylor
ridiculous. She's not dead.
Swift. Astral projection. She can't go out
That's
in
what's up
public. She
here.
has to astrally project everywhere.
Actually, it would be really smart.
Yeah.
There's just like Taylor chilling somewhere while she's out doing her shows.
Alexis has a new shirt.
I do have a new shirt.
Yeah.
Which I think it works very well with something that I wanted to talk about today, actually.
Oh.
You know, there is some really big news going around that Ed Sheeran didn't go to prison, which is awesome.
Nice. Yes, I am also appreciative of that.
He's
Was he-
avoided
I don't think he was
wouldn't have been
ever at
prison,
risk
but-
of going to prison.
He was gonna go to musical jail,
Music
where they
Musical
all
jail.
where all the security guards.
He was
sing.
going to quit because songwriters weren't going to be able to write songs anymore. But
true.
continue.
But yeah, so that's great news. And similarly to that, I feel like I can resonate with like his current like freedom, because I almost went to jail as well. And I wanted to kind of pass this discussion to y'all, pick your brains about this topic. So as we remember from the last episode, I was talking about how I was going to go to a concert that day. And I did go to a concert that day. And one of the things that happened there was my friend, he immediately pointed out to me that I committed a faux pas that I was not aware of. I was wearing a t-shirt of the band that was performing there. He's like, "You can't do that, man. You're not allowed. That's a faux pas. It's a concert faux pas. You're not supposed to wear the t-shirt of
I've heard that before.
of the person that you're going to see." And I didn't know that. And here I am with the Karen Jonas The Restless t-shirt, and this, since I didn't know about that whole faux pas, I didn't know if like my friend was just yanking my chain or something. So if I came to a Karen Jonas show with this shirt, would I be sent to musical prison with Ed Sheeran, or
Where you sing musicals every day?
yeah, where we sing musicals every day?
Maybe
And
not musical
anyone in the-
prison, but you might have to sleep on the couch.
Oh, okay. I would prefer that.
Only if it's your dream couch. I actually have heard that before, and my take is it's bullshit.
Okay.
But it's particularly bullshit because I think it's like people don't ever want to be caught actually enjoying something because it's not cool to enjoy something. So like if you like a band so much to wear their t-shirt, like that's not cool, right? But that's really gross to me. And I will tell you, like in the K-pop world, people go early to pick up a shirt and to go home and change before the concert into the shirt that they bought with all of the merch. Like, it's okay to like things.
Cool. I feel like I can really resonate with those kinds of fans.
Okay. Hey, you froze for a second.
What?
Oh,
We're good now.
happens. I was trying to do my best Yoda impression.
Interested in the take of the audience if they have any other reason that it would be not okay. But I feel like it's not okay just because people think it's not cool.
Yeah.
But the only reason they think it's not cool is because it's like enjoying things is not
Right. Yeah.
cool.
Or
Yeah.
it's not cool to try.
Mhm.
Like not cool to be smart and when you're in high school, that sort of thing.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, and it's also just like it's like weird because like I went to another show about a week later, which was a couple days ago. I went to see Lorna Shore, Gojira, and Mastodon. They performed
Wow.
pretty recently, a couple days ago, and so many people. Like compared to the show I went to before that, which was the Pedro the Line show, which was probably 100 people or so, if that. There was like thousands of people at this show, and so many people were wearing Lorna Shore shirts, Gojira shirts, Mastodon shirts, and I was like, man, was my friend just like really just like trying to give me a hard time and you know try to like poke at me in a fun way and just trying to poke at my naivety or something? I'm getting like mixed results here or mixed signals here. I don't know, so
Maybe
that's
it
why I wanted
depends
to.
on the show.
Yeah, probably
Depends on the genre.
Yeah.
We lost 2 watchers with this conversation. Somebody's back. Hi.
Hello.
Sorry about that. We'll get to music soon, I promise. I support you wearing your band shirts wherever you want to wear them, Alexis.
Cool. Awesome.
In
Thank
fact, you could show up with the shirts, the sweatpants, the hat, and the socks, and I wouldn't judge you.
Yes. That's my dream.
And the jacket over top.
Yes.
As long as it doesn't get too hot.
Like a light up hat with like the
Yeah.
band's name.
Ideally, yeah.
Yeah.
Make banners too. Yeah, go all out, man.
Definitely. All right. Well, I appreciate the support.
Yeah. Let's get some music.
Yeah.
Music.
Hey, you're up first. Oh, I'll do the thing.
Mhm.
The card
the thing,
thing.
please.
The thing.
The thing.
Here we go.
Hello, we're listening. We're listening to some songs today. I'm Kay. We've got Alexis and Jesse. Make sure to tune in for their songs too. If you are watching us on YouTube, those will be out in sometime in the next couple of weeks, so keep an eye out for those. I've got some visitors with me. Another cat just popped up. A dog in a pile behind me, so if you see me getting distracted, it's because I'm being crawled all over by a zoo. Anyway, I'm bringing a song today. Today I bring us back to a familiar topic we've talked about in season 1 quite a lot, and that is K-pop star. And I was first introduced to the artist I'm sharing today, Shin Hoon, when she appeared on the 2nd season of the show in 2012 at only 14 years old. She was actually eliminated for the show before the top 10, which is the live rounds, but was brought back when another contestant dropped out unexpectedly. So despite the pressure of the unexpected save and the challenge of simultaneously balancing her career as an award-winning figure skater, she made it to the top 6 of the competition before being eliminated. I lost track of her after watching that, but I found her again on the Idol re-debuting show The Unit, in which she made it to the finals but didn't make it to the final group. Still, it wasn't until this time last year, with the release of her full first album, that I fully fell in love with her voice and style. The album, titled Stars and Memory and Poetry, is, to me, a collection of pure warmth. Some songs are the sun on your face on a spring day, others are a mug of tea on a chilly night. All of them make me feel like I'm wrapped in a blanket of Jihoon's voice, aware of the pain in the world, but somehow safe from it. And writing this intro, I feel so much like I sound like Alexis. So, cool. The song I'm sharing today is my absolute favorite off the album, and I just cannot get enough of it. The title is The Deep Sea, and while I don't have a great translation, I think I was able to piece together an understanding using Google Translate. The song is about struggling to accept love and uses the deep sea as a descriptor for loneliness or depression or just not feeling very confident or in love with yourself. But truly, I think Jihoon's voice holds on its own even without a great lyrical understanding. Let's listen to The Deep Sea from Shin Jihoon's May 2022 album, Stars and Memory and Poetry.
너와 함께 걷는 길 위에 밤이 내려오면 우리 이제 잡았던 손을 놓아요. 어렵게 인사를 건네고 돌아선 걸음은 잊었던 외로움으로 날 이끌어요. 너가 나를
Welcome back. Alexis, you all right?
Oh boy, that got really emotional at the end.
Yeah,
I was not expecting that.
it does that.
Yeah, the first listen that I had, it was without the lyrics, so I was just kind of taking it in, the music and the vibe, and yeah, with the context of the lyrics, even if it's just like a vague understanding of what it might be portraying, it's still poetically beautiful and really powerful, and it like completely just changed my like whole perception of that final part, because it sounded so euphoric and dreamy when you get to that explosion of just emotion at the end with the way that her voice opens up, because she has like this very sort of unique tone that she sings for most of the song, and near the end, like, it just opens up in this really sharp and resonant way, that I felt kind of like a release when I first heard the song, and then like tying the lyrics to it, I was just like, wow, like what she's saying, or what we think she's saying, it's like so profoundly, I don't know, kind of like sad in a way. The lyrics, just so we can look at them together, the last part, it says, "The day I sank into the deep, deep abyss always hugged me in my heart. Unfinished edges towards me." It's just like such beautiful imagery. It's so powerful and so emotive. It really changes that section to me. So like when we got there just now, I was like, whoa, I was not expecting that, because my first listen was more just more me kind of just like thinking of like what this might be, but now that there's more there's less ambiguity here. Wow, it's powerful.
And I will say that the lyrics that you read off are Google translated line by line, and so it doesn't read full things as sentences when they should be.
Right.
So reading it as a sentence, but also Google translating for the sake of the listeners, translates to "hug me forever as I sink into the deep, deep sea."
Yeah.
Which is kind of equally sad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well.
Yeah. Aw.
I skimmed the lyric translation when I was listening to it, and I wasn't really actively thinking about it on our last listen through during the show, but I did like get mentally distracted and start thinking sad thoughts in the middle, so I guess it was working. Talking about her tone, like Alexis brought up, I think it's really interesting that she is so young, because I had in my notes that she sounds like
She's not anymore.
Oh.
She was 14 in 2012.
Oh.
Okay.
But I will say she sounds very similar now. Yeah, so she's about 25 now.
Because I had like youthful in my notes for like her tone, like breathy, and she also reminds me kind of like Dawan from Night of Sokyo, in terms of her vocal quality, is a good thing.
Yeah, and the vocals definitely stood out to me on first listening, as just as a new listener to her music. Her vocal tone definitely stood out to me, and I feel like the color of her voice, I'm not sure if anyone here is familiar, whether in the audience or between you and Kay and Jesse. But her voice reminded me of another singer, to me in particular. Maybe the comparison isn't accurate, but to me, like, are either of you familiar with a singer called Uhyo? No?
Spell it?
Oohyo.
Yes, love her.
Okay. Yeah, like,
yeah, I think I hear that too.
Like the color of her voice, I would say kind of familiar, kind of similar, but also kind of like just the way that Uhyo also makes music kind of similar in this really kind of dreamy sort of way. I felt like there was a bit of a similarity there. So I felt when I was listening to Ji-hoon, I felt like I was invited in a way to something familiar. And then when things went in directions that I was not expecting and just very unique to Ji-hoon herself, I think that's like what made this experience very, very powerful for me. So I think the thing I'm trying to say here is that's really cool is like, I think people who might find something similar here can experience something that is familiar, but also something that is very unique at the same time. So I think that's also really, really cool if you do decide to really dive into her music.
I definitely think that like mumbly kind of sound that Ji-hoon uses a lot, especially in the first chunk of the song, like the major chunk of the song, is something that I find in more K-indie than I do anywhere else, really.
Yeah.
I really love it. And I think Uhyo is a good example of that kind of like, it's not quite, it's like taking the cutesy voice, but kind of using a little bit of the cutesy pronunciation, but using it with somebody's regular voice. I don't know how to describe it.
Yeah.
But I do really enjoy it, and I'm glad you heard that here.
Yeah.
Can I talk about my favorite parts when she uses her voice?
Yes.
Is that okay? So like my first favorite part, not my most favorite, but my the first one that appears, is that really raspy bit in the chorus, on the word that Google says translate to invisible, and I'd have to figure out what that word is. But there's one moment, she goes Urichi, and there's like this rasp at the end of that, and the da 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 part, and like every time that just like rips my heart out. And then there's one word in the second verse that she sings out of tune. It's just a tiny bit out of tune, and it's the last word of the second verse, and it's the word mola, which means I don't know. So it kind of makes sense to be this, like, it's become a question, or she's unsure of it, she's unsure of the pitch. I didn't actually know the translation of the lyrics at all until literally last night when I was trying to put them together for you all. But those two moments have always stuck out for me as something that I can just kind of grab onto in this song that has like this steady rhythm going, and there's a lot of steadiness in this song, but I feel like those moments of things that feel unsure or volatile are really what make this song so special to me.
Yeah, and the instrumentals are like you said, like a very steady groove. There's really not a lot of like tricks or gimmicks going on. It's like a very standard live band sort of recording, where I would imagine any live performance would be like very similar, except for maybe she would need other people to do backing vocals if she had any, instead of just re-recording herself. But it was, yeah, it's like I think that steadiness, that like non-distracting instrumental, like allows for more nuance to be heard in her vocals.
Yeah, and if we can dig into the meaning a little bit with that, I think it's really interesting because to me, this song is sort of about having like a steady presence. Like that's that ending line, right? Hug me forever. Like of having this steady rock to rely on, but being unsteady yourself or unstable yourself. So having her vocals stand out so much and have a little bit more flavor, whereas the instrumental feels very like a rock that you can depend on, makes it interesting to me. Alexis, you good? You with us?
Yeah.
Okay, you look distracted.
Now I was trying to call back to something mentally with her voice, because I remember listening to the song and there was a recurring thing that I was noticing that I wrote down, as I found that there was these very cool and fascinating choices for the vocal layering, but I got so wrapped up in the emotions this time around that I completely forgot to pay attention to that detail this time around. So I was trying to remember, like, wait, what about it was very fascinating? I just remember the way that she overdubbed different parts. Something about it just stood out to me
I
that
have
felt
similar notes from when I listened that like on the choruses, the doubling and the reverb was very present. To like kind of add a little extra like shine or like highlighting to the qualities of her voice. But it wasn't overboard. It wasn't like beating you over the head with it. It was just like, oh, she's here. Like this is the thing to focus on. And then starting in the second verse, they start adding backing harmonies with herself in like stereo and but the harmonies are very very subtle. They're not like really strong chord harmonies. They're
Right.
just like it's there if you're
Yeah.
in the background.
Yeah.
It's like adding a little finishing touch more than it is a feature.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've tried to figure out who produced the song. I think it was Spotify that said it attributed it entirely to her. I'm not entirely sure if that's correct. She, I think, has her own company at this point. I think she's fully independent. And so she doesn't have the backing of an agency or anything. And I think this album was put out when she was fully independent. And I was pretty sure she left her agency right after the unit. So I think she's been that way since. But she's just putting out really quality stuff. I mean, this whole album is just gorgeous and beautiful. And it doesn't all have this like rhythmic component that I think this song does. But it's all just so clean and well done and interesting. And it feels like the things that aren't clean and perfect were chosen intentionally. So she's doing that herself. Like, I'm super impressed. But she has been in the industry for 10 years since she was 14. So
I was about to say that is extra impressive for someone who used to be 14.
Yeah.
Yeah. And is a figure skater, I guess.
Yeah, super talented.
She has like you go to her Wikipedia page and it has more awards about her figure skating than it does about her music. It's so bizarre. I mean, it's not bizarre. Good for her for being multi-talented, but
I bet there are figure skating people who are like, it's so bizarre that she does music too.
I don't think she's still active as a figure skater. I feel like the last competition that seems to be attributed to her was like 2013. I don't know if that's just the last time people updated it, or if that's actually true. So yeah, I just love this song. I love the melody of the chorus, I think, especially even beyond just the delivery. It's just so engaging.
Yeah, I think to me, since this is literally my only experience with her music so far, it has me really interested to listen to the rest of the album to see where exactly this fits, because just taking this song in isolation, it strongly gives me like this sort of like end of an album sort of vibe.
It's mid. It's number 5.
Yeah, and I looked at the track listing. I was like, it's in the middle, so I'm like, I'm really interested to see what the rest of the album is before and after, because like this feels so just in isolation. It feels so like a finale in a way. That how does she use this as like the stepping stone to continue the pacing of the album? Because if this just on itself sounds like the ending, but it isn't the ending because we know that it's in the middle, it's like, how does it springboard to the next thing and the pacing not feel wonky or something like that? And I would imagine it doesn't feel wonky. I'm just noting in my feeling of like, I'm really interested to see how does that execution pay off, because it does feel like a finale in a way. And are the other sounds that she has on this album equally as dreamy, or does she have like really upbeat stuff, things like that? Like I'm really curious to see like, how does this album flow from start to end?
Spoiler alert, I think this is the most upbeat song to the album. You'll have to check me on that, but it is a lot of slow songs and ballads. This is like one of my go-to gardening albums. All my favorite albums that I like in their entirety, I listen to when I'm gardening. I don't know, it just works for me. Yeah, this is like one of my favorite gardening albums, and so I'm only half paying attention when I'm listening to the whole thing, but I think this is the this is one of the higher points. She doesn't
Wow.
have a lot
Okay.
of upbeat poppy songs, especially that she's released in recent years.
Mm-hmm.
She did just have a release, and now I've forgotten the name of it. That is also like another sort of mid-tempo to low-tempo ballad. Not ballad like ballad, but slower song. It's
Yeah.
probably the right word. But
Yeah.
it's all beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
It's gorgeous.
Yeah. Which I
Maybe
think
that's-
would be really cool to have that sort of package, because I think like not everything needs to follow a traditional album arc in a way. You can definitely deviate from that. But another little interesting thing about the song that has me interested to see like the direction of the pacing of the album is just the end of this song. The end of the song just kind of feels inconclusive to me. Like it just drifts away in a way. And now that I know like the outro lyrics, it almost feels like the music itself kind of like reflects what we're getting lyrically, because it almost feels like the character that's in the song is almost describing this feeling of drifting away themselves. And so the song kind of just feels like it's fading rather than giving us a conclusive ending. And perhaps that not only works in a isolated moment where how it works for the song with the lyrics, but also the fact that this song doesn't give us like a conclusive kind of like ending helps it fade into the next song as well. So yeah, I thought that was also really interesting, that choice to not give us like a really conclusive ending. I think it both helps the song because of the way it reflects the lyrics, but also what it might help with the next track.
You'll have to listen and find out because I don't remember right now.
Yeah.
The next track is called To the One Left Behind.
Oh.
So I feel like we're not
Ooh.
going up from here.
Right.
Seems like a two-parter though, like with this
Mhm.
song and then that one.
Right.
Yeah, I don't think sonically they sound like a two-parter, but maybe meaning. This is the first time I've dug into any of the lyrics.
Yeah.
It's a mystery to me. I'm normally gardening and crying at the same time. Now that you say it, Jesse, I think I do sad garden a lot. That's my outlet.
Yeah.
Oh, but it's beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
Anything else?
Liked it.
I don't think I really have anything else to say other than this time around on the second verse. I don't know if y'all picked up on it, but there's like this very, very, very quiet guitar layer happening. It's like kind of like a muted guitar doing like single
There's like a
notes.
bass line added too, right?
Yeah, the bass line is more prominent and also very I don't want to say groovy, but it's
funky.
it's a little funky, and I was like, whoa, this bass is really cool. But there's also like some guitar that's just like super submerged in the deep sea, and I just wanted to highlight that just so that every aspect of the song gets some shine, because I didn't want that to go unnoticed, because I feel like it's really hard to pick it out, and it's not doing anything too particularly flashy or noteworthy. It's there for like the added texture. It's there for the added texture, and also just the fact that it's doing something particular with the guitar, in that it's not just like guitar chords or doing like a melody line. Like it's deliberately muted, so the notes sound kind of stiff and muted, and I feel like bringing some shine to that choice. I wanted to at least give it some spotlight, because I thought it was really cool.
It was really cool. Cool. Well, thank you for listening to this to me. I will say I listened to this, came out last year, and absolutely loved it, and I shared it with so many people, and I just got silence back from everyone.
Oh,
so
no.
I'm really glad you all were more enthusiastic about it. No shame to the people who didn't respond. Maybe they were too busy to listen, to enjoy it. Maybe they just didn't like it. I don't know. Thank you for listening to it with me today.
Yeah, of course. And honestly, like, I did like take a look at the other stuff that she's released, only taken a look. I haven't listened to anything else. I took a look and I was like, whoa, like she's definitely pretty active, and I love the cohesiveness between all these projects where they're all like, you know, this photo is a memory, or this poem is a song or something. Like there's this recurring kind of way that she presents the music or writes about music, that has me extremely excited to take a deep dive into her music. I'm definitely going to go through everything, because this song really definitely hit me, and not just because the song is amazing, but also this fits very well with the type of music that I listen to from Korean musicians and things like that. So I'm super excited to just add this to my rotation. So yeah, I'm going to check everything out from here for sure.
Share with me the songs that you like. Yeah,
Okay.
she has A Story That Will Turn Into a Poem, When the
Yeah.
Magnolia Blooms, A Fairy Tale. They're all these like
Yeah.
really beautiful sounding album titles. Her most recent release is Falling in Love is Like the Spring Rain.
Yeah.
Parting is Like the Winter Rain.
Right.
Which is a very long title and also
Yeah.
reminds me of like early Panic at the Disco,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
make it like a K ballad.
Right.
That was released in late April 26th of this year. So she's definitely still releasing stuff. There's a lot to listen to, and I hope you enjoy it.
Thank you.
All right. Are we going to the next one?
Next song.
All right.
All right. Well, hello, and thank you for tuning. Oh, wait, what? Did I miss something?
Kay made a face when she came back.
Oh. Okay.
I got Jesse. Oh no, there's chocolate on my teeth. I'm editing that out.
Nope. Keep it.
All
Drinking
right.
my water instead.
Okay. Well, welcome to ListenIn. I'm going to be sharing a song for everyone. If you haven't checked out Kay's song for the episode, it should already be up, so you can go back and listen to that. Afterwards, we're going to hear what Jesse has to share. Music. Music has been a genre of music for at least a while now. It's always a rush for me whenever I venture out to find artists new to me. The excitement of making the unknown known, because what possibly is out there probably can't be fathomed until we go out and experience it ourselves. And an artist like Japanese singer-songwriter Iri is a shining instance of this for me. A musician who's crafted a sound that helps create a feeling that is purely their own, blending soulful R&B and hip-hop, hard-hitting and uplifting dance music, dazzling city pop, and tender rock balladry. I only discovered her recently, and one of the biggest things about her music that has enriched my time whenever I listen to Edie is how she seamlessly swims through all these sounds from project to project. And they all sound so personal and vital, allowing Erie to invite you into a special place within music in that kind of music as a genre sort of way. Trust me, as you listen to her releases, I feel you'll come away with a similar feeling. All of these sounds that Edie has helped to define herself as a musician has been cultivated over the course of years, with her debut album having come out as recent as 2016. I suppose that's pretty recent. And with the way Edie blends all these sounds throughout her creative project, it's been difficult for me to find the entry point I'd like to best to introduce others to her music, because I've been realizing that perhaps it's not the best to approach it with sound or genre as the main consideration. And so I got to thinking that perhaps it should be about time, maybe somewhere long ago or somewhere recent. And then I came across one of Edie's interviews just shortly after her debut, where she described what her future goals were. She said, "I want to be an artist who makes songs that would be passed down generation to generation." And to hear this was what the young Edie was thinking about at the time, it has made me reflect on the course of her music throughout the years in a different way. with time in consideration more so than sound. In what ways might had this feeling she's had shaped the sounds or emotions she wanted to capture at a given moment in her life? In what ways is younger Edie the same or different from present Edie? And it was here that her song from last year, Starlight, stood out to me even more. And not just because it's stylized in all caps, in contrast to her name that's stylized in all lowercase. I want to briefly quote the lyrics from today's song, Starlight. Starlight, starlight, keep your head up. Starlight, starlight, do you remember right? That line has such a different impact now that I have been wondering if Edie remembers her younger self, what her younger self expressed those years ago, and can't shake the feeling that perhaps that this is a song where prior and present Edie gets to unite in some sort of conversation. It is a curious thought to have, but for now, let us here unite for conversation and to share a good time, a moment, a memory together as we take a listen to Starlight by Edie. Enjoy.
Slide, Toby no asa. What can I? それでもまだ try. 不思議な日々の交差。夢か否かもすら分からず better dive. Yo, so old, don't care about 泣かないだけ走れそうかも今なら hold on 転ぶまだしわってどうせなら叫べ Oh yeah そうみたい旅さえ魔法みたい震えていようと Starlight, starlight Keep your head up Human only you are Starlight, starlight Do you remember right heart? Starlight, starlight Keep your head up Human only you are Starlight, starlight Do you remember right heart? No, my place ドアを開けて力向かったをそうどうなってて夜の風を抜けよう濁った街の線路孤独を味わって怖がりだよ僕らって手を離してみてくれよ誰が何と言おうと君と僕は続きを見るんだ Starlight, starlight Keep your head up Human only you are Starlight, starlight Do you remember light heart? Starlight, starlight Keep your head up Human only you are Starlight, starlight Do you remember right heart? Do you remember right heart?
All right. Well, I feel like I already know a little bit about Kay's feeling here. It seems like she was in the chat saying this is a banger, and I have to agree. It is quite the banger. What do you think, Jesse?
I think it's really fun, just like a feel good sort of song, and there's like a lot of really interesting things going on in it too.
Mm-hmm.
To me, like the overall genre feel like is like I'm not an expert on dream pop or not on city pop, but it felt like a sort of halfway between dream pop and city pop to me,
Mm.
where it like wasn't wholly one or the other, but like there's
Mm-hmm.
certain instrumental choices that like wouldn't fit in either genre, but
Right.
there.
Yeah, I think to me, this song really stood out to me on first listen because of just how high energy it is. A lot of her other songs have like a vibe, and it's usually more in the middle in terms of like energy and tempo. So this is just like a rush of energy. So it like really stood out to me. And I think because of that high energy, but also the instrumentation being more rock centered, this felt more in that sort of like J-rock realm to me. But I think that's just mostly because of just like how hard it hits you when you're listening to like a bunch of her stuff before this, and then you get to this, and it's just like so different in that regard. I actually now am hearing a bit of like some city pop elements to it now as well, and I didn't really catch on to it before, but yeah, I can agree with you. There's definitely like some city pop things, but also that feeling of like there's things that don't belong there, so it's like it's hard to like feel the things that do belong there in a way.
I think like historically it's interesting to think about though the prevalence and importance of city pop on Japanese pop music as a whole. In the last, what year is it now? 50 years, I guess, or since the 80s when city pop really took off. And keeping in mind that like a lot of the artists making music now likely had city pop around them their entire lives. And so seeing city pop influence in J-rock and J-pop is something that I've noticed a lot. I'm not an expert on Japanese music yet. Give me a few more months, but no, I'm joking. I'm not an expert on anything. But it's a genre that I've been exploring more recently, but not one that I feel like I've explored enough to like be able to factually make statements about it. But I feel like that's a trend I've seen a lot, that you just see a lot of city pop influence, which makes perfect sense when you think about it.
Yeah.
But no, the song's a banger. I love it. I'd heard it before, and it's on my playlist. I just checked, thanks to Dusty Bot in the Discord, and says I've listened to it 10 times, which means Last FM is picked up at 10 times.
Yeah.
That doesn't sound like many, but keep in mind that my most played songs of the year normally hover around 20, so 10 seems like 10 is actually a lot for me.
Yeah, that is. Yeah.
But no, it's so good. It's so fun. You blew my mind a little bit today, Alexis. I'm not entirely sure how to say this out loud, but I've listened to this song a lot. I think it popped up on I don't know where I found it. I don't know if it was a Discover Weekly or what, but somehow I ended up listening to it, but I didn't have context of the artist at all. I just really liked the song. And I think I have 2 Edie songs on my playlist that are that situation, and I never looked into the artist, and I had no idea it was a woman.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Whoa. Okay.
Yeah, she has this like really deep, almost androgynous type voice
That's exactly
and vocal
what
style.
I had my notes too. Yeah, like there's both masculine and feminine elements of their tone.
Absolutely. And it's not that I had put a lot of thought into it. Like it's not all that important to me. But I think if you had asked me prior to you saying that loud, my guess would have been incorrect. So I thought that was interesting.
Yeah.
If I looked distracted when you were giving your intro, it's because I was fact checking you.
Okay.
I was like, wait a second.
I don't believe.
I don't.
Yeah.
I believed you were correct, but I needed to see it for myself.
Yeah, I was checking with like the corner of my eye. I saw like you were doing something, and I was like, "Oh no!"
Is this the corner of your eye?
Yeah, that's the corner of my eye.
Is this how you look out of it?
Yeah, that's how I look at it.
Tiny little corner.
Yeah, and I was like, did I do something? Is there something wrong? So yeah, thank you for the clarification.
No, I was looking up Beauty because I was a little mind blown in that moment.
Yeah, her voice is amazing. I love her voice. I think that's probably like one of the biggest appeals for me with her music is just not just the color and tone of her voice, but like how she utilizes it, because like she has like a big range of like sounds in terms of styles of music that she does. Like there's songs like this where it's just like this really energetic, rocking sound, but then there's like really like vibey hip hop sort of songs, and there's like these dance numbers, and then there's like these introspective, gentle, like very bittersweet sounding rock songs, and it's like the way that she has to be flexible to utilize her voice for all these different spaces of emotion. I feel like it's just so hard for me not to be drawn into her music because of like how prominent her voice is within those various spaces. So yeah, her voice is really incredible, and probably like one of the biggest things that I really enjoy about her music.
I think there's also a lot of interesting things they do in terms of the production with her voice. Like it's very processed, but like the autotune is very light on it. And I hear a lot of like sliding around on the pitches, like which is kind of a typical J-pop, J-rock sort of thing, where like on a lot of artists, like pitch is kind of nebulous and like not that important in terms of like it's more about emoting. Where like everything sounds like a little flat, but it's like part of their like the way that they're inflecting and like adding their sort of attitude or emotion to the song. So it's like it's not a like glaring like this is wrong sort of thing. It's just like oh, this is the part of the feel of it, that it's in between a little bit.
Talking about interesting things, the entire second verse is like so fun to me, and I wish I had written down specific things. I just wrote second verse equals love, which is not very helpful.
I mean, I do really like the rhythmic change on the singing. It's I don't know. I feel like there's a bit of like a hip hop influence on it.
There's so much that happens production wise too that's different from what we hear in the rest of the song. Like this song is one that is an adventure, and it feels like it just keeps changing on you.
Yeah, and the how would I describe that part? Is it a bridge? I don't know. Maybe it's a bridge, but the kind of like climax where things are starting to ramp up, because there's not a whole lot of lyrics happening in that section. I don't think there is actually any lyrics happening in that section, but like that section definitely like takes a turn arrangement wise, because the drums are a lot more prominent, and I feel like that's probably a moment that feels more J-rock than anything else, because I think J-rock kind of like feels more instrumental palette wise happening in the second and first verse, where that bridge feels just more consistently J-rock to me. So yeah, like there's definitely like this sense of adventure that happens with that part as well. Just the song's just like taking all these dives and turns,
blending through so many genres.
Yeah.
I do have to comment on the lyrics a little bit, or like at least what is going on with the translation.
Oh yeah.
Somebody Google
pretty funny.
translated it.
Like one of the verses I think is either a verse or a bridge, but it's like taste until you fall. Anyway, scream. Oh yeah. Even painful pain. Magic. And that was one verse. Like that's not like snippets from different verses. That is one like in entirety continuous section.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah, and I feel like maybe I think this speaks more to the credibility of like translated lyrics on the internet. Like there's a possible good chance that it's not been like fully checked for accuracy if that's the actual translation, but
that
it
is exactly the Google Translate.
Oh okay.
So somebody just put it into Google Translate.
Yeah.
Although it says it seems like a lie, even the pain, not painful pain.
Okay.
Slightly better than the
slightly improved. That might have been the Google Translate, like I don't know, a few years ago or something.
Even painful pain.
Painful pain.
Painful pain. That's my least. That's my least.
My
favorite
least
pain.
favorite kind of pain.
Yeah.
Well, thankfully, this song doesn't give me any painful pain. So
No.
Not at all.
only painless pain.
Yeah, I feel like this journey for me, because it has been kind of recent for me. I've only discovered her, I want to say, in the past month. And so I think it was also really interesting to find out that you've been listening to her for a while now, and getting to kind of like go on this journey together has been really cool in a way, even though it's only just starting now, because I've only now just recently discovered that you've been listening to her. I'm really excited to see where things go, because this song came out last year, and I've been listening to the songs that she released this year, which are like so different, completely different. Like Starlight's kind of like this own little thing that happened, and it's like the only thing that's kind of before and after, kind of like this. And then the stuff that's been this year have been like more dancey and upbeat, in a more like electronic and dance sort of thing. So she also has an album coming out, I think this month actually. So yeah, I'm really excited to see where things go with her, and like what sounds we get.
I think the other song I have that I've listened to from her is Wonderland.
Yeah,
Have you heard that? Okay.
I was like this close of bringing it, because I feel like that
Yeah.
might be like the quintessential Edie song in a way, because like it's an earworm. It like I can't like get it out of my head at all, and I was like, this might be the one. But then I just felt this song, just something about this song just kind of like grabbed out to me. I was like, nah, I think this is the one. But yeah, Wonderland's amazing. I love that song.
Yeah, it's so good. I definitely, and that definitely is the song that has the most listens on Spotify for her. And
Okay.
at 23 million as opposed to Starlight
Whoa.
at 2 million.
Whoa.
Wow.
Yeah. So
Exciting.
that seems to be the song that's taken off for her. But
Yeah.
yeah, I actually haven't really dug into her music very much. I don't even remember where I first heard Iri, but definitely those two songs have come across my ears, and I liked them a lot. So thank you for bringing this, because I will be more motivated to keep listening to more.
Awesome. And do you have anything else to share, Jesse?
No.
Okay.
I thought it was really fun. Yeah, and
Cool.
good
All right.
frantic energy here and there.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's good.
My
Awesome.
other note said so catchy.
Very catchy, for sure.
Very catchy.
Well, this has been a pleasure. And before we move on to the next song, I wanted to take a moment to share a message of encouragement to Iri-san, because I have felt enriched by her music. So I wanted to send a little quick message of encouragement to her, also in her native language, because I felt like maybe this wouldn't work if I just did it in English. So I'm going to do my best to give that message in Japanese, and I do apologize in advance, as I don't speak Japanese, and I don't think I have a friend that would be able to give me something that is not Google Translate. So if there is an inaccuracy in terms of the message or the inflection or tone or cadence, I do apologize. But I wanted to give a message of encouragement, because this music has been lifting up my life. So anyways, konnichiwa, Iri-san. Iri-san wa sure ni watashi no jinsei ni furimashita. Iri-san no ongaku o kosei ni tsutaete ikeru you ni ganbarimasu. そしてイリさんの音楽を通じて私たち聴衆に感動と喜びを与えてくれて本当にありがとうございます。陰ながら応援しています。And that translates to, hopefully, Edie has already touched my life. I'll do what I can to share your music to future generations. And thank you very much for inspiring us, the audience, with your music. I am supporting you. So thank you. And if you want to continue to support Edie, she does have an album coming out pretty soon. And you can check out her website at Edie Official. That's IRI official.com. And stay in the loop with all things going on with that. And yeah, thank you for listening.
I hope it doesn't translate to even painful pain magic.
Yeah.
The pronunciation sounded pretty good though. Like,
Yeah, it did.
Thank you. Thank
Not
you.
an expert.
Yeah.
I took one semester in college and forgot almost all of it. So
Cool.
anyways, next song. Hello. Welcome back to LiSTENiN podcast. For a second, I forgot it was me. That was up.
You were just waiting for somebody else to start talking.
Start my song is like, oh, my song is on the thing. I put it there because I'm in control of that. Who goes now? It's me. Anyways, the artist I am bringing today, Lostboycrow, real name Chris Blair, is an indie pop artist from the Pacific Northwest who constantly bends and mixes genre throughout their discography. And in interviews, he has said he likes to go with the flow and let inspiration come to him, which certainly lines up with what I heard going through his tracks and the influences with electronica, R&B, rock, surf rock, Americana, and more. Lostboycrow has been fairly prolific since his debut in 2016 and has released at least one EP or full album every year since then. So if you like what you hear today and are curious about the rest of his work, there's plenty to dig into. Also, in interviews, he said he likes to play and watch sports. So I don't know if I could hang out with him a whole lot because I don't do the sports ball. But he did also say he likes pizza, so maybe it could work out because I love pizza. Also featured artist in this song, since it is a rework of the original, is artist AVIV, who was 15-ish around the time of this 2022 recording, and is a multi-instrumentalist singer-songwriter from Toronto who released her debut single in 2021, so possibly at the age of 14, a running theme in this recording, 14-year-old people and people who once were 14. So I hope she also likes pizza. Anyways, pizza or not, the year is now 2023.
I was never 14.
No, I was. Some of us were born
I tried to make my joke,
15.
but I was muted, so I had to interrupt you. I'm sorry. Continue.
Anyways, the year is now 2023, and we are listening to the song Strawberry Sunscreen Rework by Lostboycrow featuring AVIV. Let's go.
What's your type? She'll paint a cabinet from the 60s and find diamonds when she's thrifting. Oh, what's it like to be the muse of every true romantic west of the Atlantic? Hey, little darling, run like the weekend. I get lost and found in your arms. Rooftop view, we met on a Wednesday. Now, which do you prefer? To be alone, to be in love, or to just be worth it? I think you're worth it. Meet me under the movie screen. I'll kiss your face in the dark. Don't really care if it's too soon to say, but I like the way you pull me apart.
Won't you just love to run away? Could change our names and disappear. It's only us and the sun until we burn and the weather clears. Oh, I hate all the notions that pull us apart. The sea and the ocean, your face and the stars. These times get confusing, we're lost in the sea. When I reconsider you,
Taste the strawberry sunscreen. Laughing at songs from the 90s. Don't really care if it rains or it shines. I'm still stuck inside the treasure chest center of both of your eyes. Kiss with them open, see what it's like to be loved.
To be loved.
So is your sunscreen strawberry flavored?
No, you're not supposed to eat sunscreen. It doesn't
Really?
work that way.
I thought it was just another form of mayonnaise. It's not?
No.
No,
I'm
and then
sorry.
at that point you'd be making music with it, not eating it.
Doing it
Mayonnaise
wrong
is an
this whole
instrument.
time. Mayonnaise is an instrument.
I'm so confused right now.
Jesse, you know what I'm talking about though, right?
I think I do, but I don't want to.
SpongeBob? SpongeBob?
Oh.
No?
Oh, okay, that's why I'm lost
No,
right
I
now.
didn't remember
Okay.
that bit from SpongeBob.
Is mayonnaise an instrument? No. It's a Patrick Star moment.
That sounds like a Patrick thing.
Yeah. No, my sunscreen doesn't taste like strawberry. Probably be very problematic if it was, because I'd probably be eating it. Much to Kay's disapproval, probably. And in the chat, I did say this song is also a banger. But
I said this with a little arrow
yeah.
up.
And in contrast to the past song where Kay said that this was a banger, I am agreeing to that sentiment for this song, but the difference here is that I have not previously listened to this artist or song prior to this whole little session here. So this is a brand new banger for me, and man, this
Why
song.
does that sentence sound so weird?
It's probably because I don't know how to English properly. I'm kind of stuck between Japanese and English now.
Forever.
It's the unfortunate.
Suddenly
thing.
you're fluent.
But yeah, wow. Strawberry sunscreen. I do appreciate first and foremost that you did make sure that you gave us the parentheses, allowed us to know about the rework. I have no idea what that means. What is a rework? Is this like a version 2 of the song? I don't know. But I will say that I am upset slightly that it's only 2 minutes. Why is it only 2 minutes? And why does it work so well at 2 minutes? It's like half of me is just like, man, this is incredible. I love this. And then like at the other side of me, I'm just like, yeah, it makes kind of sense that it's 2 minutes. But I don't know. It's just like, oh, this song is amazing.
To speak to the rework quality of it or aspect of it, I heard this version before I heard the original. And the original is actually pretty close. It's just like it doesn't have AVIV in it. But I thought like she added like a little bit of extra something to it. So I thought that'd be more interesting to bring in. And what was my other thought? Yeah, this strawberry sunscreen, like I think the name in itself is like really good. It's a great name. It's very specific but weird, and like I think that kind of goes along with a lot of the lyrics in the song, that it's like specific but weird, or like you don't know exactly what's going on. I think something that kind of changed a little bit between the original version and the new version is that
I threw my phone. I didn't get angry. Let me make sure I didn't break it. I did not break it. Continue.
the original had some more like specific lyrics, like like it how in the first verse there's like cabinet from the 60s is like a very specific image, and then later on they ask there's a part that gets swapped out for the AVIV stuff that like asks like, do you like the Velvet Underground? So like specific things, but instead it's mostly just this weird sort of like I like the way you pull me apart, or run like the weekend, which is like I don't know what that means exactly.
I like it. I know exactly what it means.
Run like the weekend?
Like, is that a Super Bowl reference?
I don't think they mean The Weeknd like the artist.
Oh, I thought it
think
was
that
like...
they mean I think that they mean like if you're in school, right? If you're like a kid in
Mm.
school during class, you're like sitting around, but on the weekend is when you get to run free. Like it's with energy. You're free.
Ah.
Yeah, that's what it means to me.
Oh, energy. That's the thing that I forgot that I was actually going to comment on. is the song length. It's like I feel that they pack in the energy of like most 3-minute 30-second songs and just like squish it into 2 minutes. And so like it doesn't feel wrong that it's that length.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think also to tie this in with another note that I had, I think the reason why the length works so well for me and why I don't really have a problem with it, even though at the same time I'm just like, oh man, this is so good, I don't want more, is because you look at the first verse and we have that line, she'll paint a cabinet from the 60s, and you were saying something about like how I think on the original they make a reference to like Velvet Underground, also a 60s band. Something that stood out to me in this song in particular, something about its vibe and also its instrumental layering, while it might not be very overt, but to me, because of my so much prior experience with this band, I was making that connection, but again, it could be just inaccurate, but this feels very Beach Boys to me, and it's not just because of the beachy vibes. Like I listen to like a lot of like the like psychedelic era of the Beach Boys, which they kind of stray away from the whole beachy thing. It's more of like Pet Sounds and Good Vibrations, where it's these really intricate layerings, these almost proto like Baroque pop sort of layering. And I get a sense from that, and with what I'm hearing from Jesse saying, like, oh, you know, in the original there's this Velvet Underground thing, and you know, we're painting cabinets from the 60s, and then they're also talking later in the song, you know, we sing songs from the 90s. It feels like it's definitely kind of like they want us to, you know, kind of like think about the past and things like that. So maybe there is this intention of wanting us to feel some inspiration from the Beach Boys, if there is an inspiration from the Beach Boys. I don't know, but I'm definitely picking up on it, especially with the whole line about the 60s. So who knows, maybe there's some credibility there, but I get a lot of Beach Boys vibe from it musically.
I get very specifically Summer Lovin' from Grease.
I can see that.
Yeah, that's like the vibe that I get from it. Entirely.
I get both of those things. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense, because to me this has like a very like the core of it is sort of like 1950s rock and roll, but then you layer on like some 60s sounds like the electric organ, and then there's all these other things like the claps, and then
but it's not even that clap.
Yeah.
It's like a really weird clap.
It's a variation of it.
It took me several tries.
Yeah. And like there's all these other little instrumental sound choices that's kind of like runs together with that theme of like Run Like the Weekend. It's like you're a kid, and the weekend like is so different from like being at school, and you can let go. Is that there's sort of this silly childlike nostalgia energy to a lot of it, like that like plucking dun, 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 dun. Like I'm not sure what instrument that is, but it made me think of like putting rubber bands around like a tissue paper box and plucking it, that sort of sound. And so it's just like that sort of weird, like silly, like this doesn't really fit in most like serious genres sort of sound palettes, and it's just a lot of fun to me.
Yeah.
It's very like free and childlike. The other song it actually reminded me of, and this might not make any sense, and I can't explain why I'm getting this, is the K-pop girl group Weekly and their song After School specifically. Do you know what I'm talking about, Alexis?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, and I don't know if it's just like that one instrumental line is a little bit similar, or if it's just that literally that song is called After School, and it's about like being free and having fun after school. Maybe it's that vibe that I'm getting from it, but for some reason that's the connection I'm making.
And I can't help but feel like Jacob Collier, who's watching right now, obviously is. He probably heard what you're saying, Jesse, about the whole like this rubber band thing. You know, it's not typical sound palette for other series songs.
That's going to be in his next song.
It's going to be in his next song. He's going to take the challenge. He's watching right now, and he's going to take that challenge. So we got to be on the lookout for that.
Hi, Jacob.
Looking forward to it, Jacob.
Thanks for being cool, Jacob.
He's going to have like a cool, just like achromatic solo on a rubber band, stretched rubber band. It's going to be wild. It's going to be amazing.
I want to see that, actually.
Yeah.
I mean, just send that to him.
Another similarity here that I got from the music, did the voice ever stand out to either of you as like it reminded you of somebody else? I wanted to hear your thoughts if it ever even
Lostboycrow's voice or AVIV's voice?
Lostboycrow. Like, has his voice ever stood out to you in some sort of way that made you think of somebody else, or no?
Kind of, but I can't put my finger on it, really.
Okay. Because to me, there are some moments in his singing where his voice just reminds me so much of like Ezra from Vampire Weekend. Does that sound accurate to either of you?
I don't know off the top of my head.
So maybe
in
it's
the
just
chat, in the comments, if you know who Alexis is talking about. Yeah. I was already familiar with Lostboycrow. This feels a little bit like K-Week. And actually, I found out, as we were listening, I went, oh, wait, I know AVIV too. And I figured out that I also like a song from AVIV. But I did want to share, I played all of the songs for this episode for April, my girlfriend April, last night. Just because I don't know, I kind of thought she would like this week's choices. So I was like, hey, why don't we listen to these together? She really liked this one. She was like, I really like that last one. And then she said, who is it? And I said, Lostboycrow. She said, we used to love a song by Lostboycrow. We listened to it all the time. Ooh. And so it took us a little bit to figure out what it was, because it was like before I was consistent about making Spotify playlists. And collecting songs like a weird little dragon, that it was Stay a Little Longer. Jesse, did you listen to that one?
No, but I will as soon as we're done.
Oh, it's so good. But it's definitely more in the like summer EDM bop kind of vibe. That was like the peak of like the summer EDM pop, I think. Summer dance pop sound. But so I have heard Lostboycrow before, and I do love that song, and I now have it on my liked songs, and I've been listening to it pretty much all day today as I was driving around. I don't know where I was going with that, other than to share that I know this artist and that song is really good, but I forgot that I knew this artist, so thank you for reminding me that I know this artist.
Yeah, I think the thing here was it's interesting how like my experience was like, oh, this reminds me of somebody. I'm not sure who it reminds me of. And then for you, it's like, oh, this reminds me of someone. And then April's like, yeah, it reminds you of him because we listened to this before.
And the name sounded familiar, but I checked and I like couldn't find anything. So I was like, oh, I just must have heard it somewhere. But no, like we listened to that song all the time. I still knew all the words when I listened to it. In the chat, we have, is it Lizeth? Is that right? Lizeth? Okay, yes. Thank you. Now I know how to say her name properly. Lizeth said yes, and I think that was at your Vampire Weekend reference. Okay. And then Trick Switch said Alexis read my mind on both the Beach Boys and Vampire Weekend. Ooh. So, Alexis, you are right. 2 points to you. You'll win your prize at the end of the episode.
Yes. Oh, the year's supply of strawberry sunscreen.
Don't eat
Hopefully. Yeah, I'm not going to eat it. No, that's really cool. And to bring back the Beach Boys briefly, I forgot to bring the circle back with my point about the Beach Boys and the similarities I was feeling. The reason why I brought that up to begin with was the reason why I feel like I am so okay with the length of the song is that a lot of Beach Boys music was also really short too. A lot of their songs were like 2 minutes, 2.5 minutes. So when I started like piecing those similarities together and whether or not it's a like an intentional inspiration or influence on the song, it's hard to say, but in my mind, if it is, then, because I'm so okay with like Beach Boys songs being so short, I think that's also why subconsciously I'm also really okay with this song being 2 minutes, because it reminds me of a Beach Boys song. So that's the last little ribbon bow tie on the point that I was trying to make.
Yeah.
Yeah, it really kind of feels like the perfect length to me.
Mhm.
It made me wish that I had like one more second. But sometimes I think
1
they do
second.
that on purpose.
1 whole second.
Yeah, 1 whole second. I needed like 4 more beats or something,
Yeah.
and then I would have been like, that was a complete song. But I do think sometimes they do that on purpose so that you listen to it again, or
Maybe, yeah.
like streaming, making songs shorter kind of situation.
Yeah.
But it does feel like it still wraps itself up in a nice little bow. And I didn't listen to the original, but I think AVIV's voice really does add a lot of interesting color and flavor. Not flavor, strawberry
Yeah.
flavor to the sunscreen.
Yeah. Also to speak a little bit about AVIV's part, I don't know if this is how it is on the original, but on this song, when AVIV comes in, I noticed that there's a big shift in the instrumental palette, how it's more drum focused, and almost just the way that the song is arranged and layered during her part and being drum focused, it almost feels just like a different place, like spatially, it just feels like a different place. And I found that very interesting. And now hearing that AVIV is like this very talented, multi-talented person, I don't know like what it is that they are talented at, and I was wondering like maybe they know how to play the drums, and if this is different from the original where that whole drummy dominant section of that part of the song is she playing the drums in this song, and is that why there's that big shift to, because like not only is she doing the vocals for that part, but maybe she's also directing musically like what happens during her section of the song. I don't know, but I did find that really interesting, just like that shift in sound and that shift in palette when she does come in.
I wouldn't be able to speak directly to it. Her listed instruments are guitar and piano. But she does also, like, she makes her own music, and her most popular songs have a very similar energy to this one.
Okay. Cool.
So like it really fits well, and I think the difference between like the main part and her part is just kind of their way of being like, this is when he's talking, and then this is when she's talking, and they're having a conversation kind of back and forth. And I it just like emphasizes the dynamic, because the lyrics are about like, you know, meeting someone and having a romantic relationship at the very beginning of it, when you're still getting to know each other and you're excited and you've got all this like new relationship energy, but you don't exactly know the person enough to like know if it's gonna last forever. Which I think also plays into the length of the song, is that like this is, you're having fun in the moment and you don't know what's gonna happen, but it's good. You're having a good time. So like
And
the
also the summer lovin' vibes, might I add.
yeah, bringing it back to that. But it's like the, for like expanding the lyric a little bit, it's in the chorus, it's don't really care if it's too soon to say, but I like the way you pull me apart. And so like liking something, so you like something the person does, it's very unique and special about them, but you don't know if it's too soon to like buy in all the way yet. Yeah.
Right.
It's cute.
That's cute.
Yeah, I love it.
Mm-hmm.
And I was also really surprised to see how prolific he has been. I mean, he's been around for a little while, and I've never heard of him, but to see his output, I'm like, there's a lot for me to dig into, so I'm super excited.
And the quality is pretty consistent. It's very
Nice.
impressive that he's able to, you know, put out so much music and still keep it up.
With such a range, too.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of respect for this artist.
Cool.
Anyways, anything else? Anyone want to add?
No, I think that covers it for me.
No, thanks for sharing.
Yeah.
You
So
got me to reintroduce myself to a song I used to love, and introduced me to a new one.
yeah.
Yeah.
Hopefully we can do more of that in the future.
That's,
Anyways, yeah, check out
not what we do.
more of their musics. for both Lostboycrow and AVIV. I think both of them have a lot of potential in the like. I feel like they're on the verge of something, both of them. So like, it's gonna. I'm excited to see where they go from here.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. To the outro.
What's really funny is that I haven't been cutting out more than just the black. So then in the ending of that YouTube video, it's going to have Jesse going to the outro. It's not going to make any sense.
Yeah.
But I love it.
Well,
We're going to stick with
and
it.
if they know the, we do the live thing, then they'll know.
The live thing.
Live thing.
Thanks for joining us on the live thing, guys. I was a little worried with our hour delay that nobody was going to be there, but I was
Yeah, thank you
hoping
for
a
showing
friend
up.
at a thing.
Yeah.
Lizeth
Thank
and
you.
Trick Switch and anyone else who is in there who hasn't chatted.
Yeah. And let this be a friendly reminder to wear your sunscreen because it's important.
It is.
It is important.
I put
Skin
on
health is
sunscreen
important.
yesterday and I still got a burn on my neck. I put on
no.
like 3 layers and it wasn't enough because
Mm.
I'm a pale, pasty man.
You, on the screen here, you are not very pale and pasty
Yeah.
I
comparatively.
think I might have given myself a filter to
Yeah.
look less pasty. Let me
Yeah, I was
let me
gonna
see
Well,
if I
then
can.
do you always use the
fix it.
filter? Because please look at me.
Yeah. I think I might take it off because it makes my teeth yellow. So, let me see if I can take it off right now. Let's turn that off. Ah. I don't. Well, the problem is that like webcams, they're not ever gonna be like completely natural either.
Right.
So it's
true.
like, what is good? I don't know. Like,
I am realistically this color.
Yeah, I'll just leave it off from now.
Just about. A little less washed out, but I lost my natural lighting today. The sun went down and got covered by clouds for a nice little thunderstorm.
This was
Storming
fun.
on all the Taylor Swift fans.
It is, I know. Well, she got through 2 nights. They were calling for storms all 3 nights, but 2 nights were storm free. But this one seems to not be so lucky.
At an outdoor venue? I guess
Yeah,
it would have to
well,
be
it's
with her concert sizes, right?
Yeah, it's the football stadium, so yeah, outdoor-ish.
Football.
But everybody's still probably in line right now, getting rained on. I'll have to delay the show. Sorry, T Swift fans.
They can go to the bench, maybe.
That's also outdoors.
Oh.
You don't want to get struck by lightning on the Taylor Swift bench. Although that would be a wild headline.
Yeah. Or maybe a good song title.
Struck by lightning on the Taylor bench.
Yeah. Someone should write a song.
It feels like a punk rock song, I think.
Could be.
The lyrics make no sense.
Anyways,
Cool.
yeah. Thank you for joining us. Bye, y'all.
Bye.